Hey everyone, Charlie here, and welcome to another Talking Time with Charlie, where today we're going to be answering a question submitted by a viewer, Jay. And the question is, how do you find new repertoire? Or what's the best way to find new repertoire? That's actually a really great question, Jay. And before I answer it, I want to make sure all of you go out there and smash the like button, the thumbs up thing, hit the notification bell, subscribe on YouTube, comment down below, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff for the algorithms, because that's great. So, to the question, how do you find new repertoire? There's no one way, but I've generally found that when I choose new pieces to learn, it actually comes down to one of three main ways, maybe. More one of two for me now, but throughout my career, I think one of three is probably a good main kind of ballpark. So, generally speaking, when I'm deciding what to play, it's either the result of one, I heard it somewhere and I thought it was cool and I want to learn it. Two, I was asked to play something by a particular concert venue or orchestra or presenter, something like that. And or three, it was recommended to me by like a teacher. So those are the generally three things that the main things that I had to. I'm trying to think if there's a fourth one. When I used to do competition, sometimes you'd have to have certain pieces, so maybe that would be a fourth category, and or I guess it could fit in with kind of number two when you have to learn something for a purpose. Yeah, let's just put it in with number two. So you're learning something for a purpose. So the three main things. One is I heard someone play it, or I heard it somewhere I liked it and wanted to learn it. Two, I have to learn it for something, either a concert or maybe a competition that I was going to be in or something back in the day or whatever. And three, maybe it was recommended by a teacher. Those are the main ways, generally speaking, that I found pieces that I ended up learning. A lot of the pieces that I play regularly were the result of something like that. For example, one of the pieces that I really love to perform, and it's a very short, beautiful piece, is Widmung, and it's by Schumann Liszt. It starts kind of like this. Etc. It's a very beautiful piece. It used to be a song that Schumann wrote and then Liszt transcribed and made for piano. So, I get more coffee. So I heard that being played at by, I think I was at a competition or a festival or something, and one of the instructors or judges or someone gave a recital, and he played this as an encore. I remember I was maybe a teenager. I thought it was such a beautiful piece, and I decided I wanted to learn it. So that was kind of an example of one. An example of two. This is a good one. So when I used to perform at the Gardner Museum in Boston quite a bit. I think I gave like 12 concerts there over several years. And I was asked to give 3 concerts that were all Schubert. And I hadn't ever played, maybe I played one Schubert piece before then. But I was asked to give like a series on Schubert. And so they were recorded. I think two of the albums are already out. So check it out on Spotify or Apple Music, or better yet, buy it on my website, because you get more than like a fraction of a penny per play, or something like that. I don't know, something like that. Streaming sucks is the bottom line. I should talk about streaming. Streaming. Okay, long story short, I'm going on a tangent, folks. Streaming, it's cool because it's like, you can immediately have access to all the stuff. But it sucks for most musicians because basically instead of selling a CD where you could actually make a little bit of money, you basically make almost nothing now from recordings, which makes recordings for like classical music especially, which costs a lot to make. It harder to do. Anyway, that's a tangent. Anyway, but I mean, streaming is cool. So pros for streaming is like you can access anything super fast, anything you want. It's cheap for the end user. Con is that the musicians make almost nothing, which is kind of sad. But anyway, back to my point. Oh, so then an example of two. So I was asked to give 3 concerts of Schubert, and that was that was really cool. I hadn't really played much Schubert before then, so I decided to, I went for it, and so I spent, I think it was over the course of a couple years, 2 or 3 years, giving concerts and learning new Schubert pieces for those concerts. So those were specifically for that. Now since then, I use some of those pieces even now in mainstream concerts. But not always. For example, I played all 3 of the last sonatas, which are beautiful to play in certain settings, but in other settings it wouldn't necessarily be the best piece to play. It's very long, it's very slow, it's very quiet. They are, all 3 of them. And it's not necessarily the best to play in all venues. And there's not a lot of venues that might be great for it to be played in. For example, you can't, if you're giving an outreach at a high school, you can't sit there and play 40 minutes of quiet music. It's not gonna sit super well. Anyway, so that's an example of 2. Example of 3, I don't know, there's probably a lot of them. I can't necessarily think of any particular one, but example of 3, teachers over the years have suggested, Mrs. Adsit, my teacher, from the time I was like 7 up to, up until I went to college, she started me on Chopin etudes. So I remember her first ones she taught me were like this Opus 25 number 1 and number 12, and I still play those to this day. And so those were recommended by her. I had no clue what Chopin etudes were at that point. So 3 main ways I find new music. I hear someone play something somewhere, or I hear the piece somewhere and I want to learn it. I have to learn it for something, like a concert or like when I did competitions, and teachers recommending them. So anyway, that's a really great question, Jay. Hope it was a little helpful, and I'll see you guys later. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell and share and comment and all that stuff. It all helps the algorithm, because you gotta help the algorithm. All right, have a great day. Bye-bye.